Reddit title reads, "Picked up my date from her other date." Ouch. Well, at least she told you and it wasn't behind your back, but I think this is a more common occurrence than many guys think. So let's read on. It's a short post, so it says, "Met a girl on Hinge, we've been talking and went on a first date." Now, you've got to be careful not to talk too much before the first date because you lose all the mystery and you kind of fall into the friend bracket. So I like to keep it short, a couple of messages here and there, and organise that date as soon as possible. You don't want to be talking to the girl for 2, 3 weeks before, because that's way too long. She knows you like her. She knows you want to see her. So try and schedule that date as soon as possible. He says it went well. I asked her towards the end what her intentions are, and she said she was looking for a long-term relationship. Likewise, in brackets. Dude, don't ask her what her intentions are. The first day and a few dates afterwards, it's just all about having fun, getting to know the person, and trying to lead it towards something physical in the near future, maybe after the first date, even. But to ask her like what her intentions are, it kind of gives off this needy vibe that you know you're trying to lock her down already, and you don't want to give her that vibe. You want her to feel free to make her own decisions and to take time because you're both vetting each other. She's making sure you're a good guy to be with and her feelings are true, and it's the same for you as well. Like, don't jump into the possible, potential relationship talk and intentions. Just have fun and try and end the day with some physical kiss, some touch, and see where it goes from here. Because already it just sounds like you've been a bit too serious and kind of jumping the gun, and women are going to be freaked out by that. The second day comes round, and I tell her I'll pick her up, but this time she sends me a different address from her home. Uh oh. So before we get on to that, it does sound like on the first day he hasn't, kissed her yet. Otherwise, he would have mentioned it. So far he's giving the vibe that maybe doesn't have a lot of experience, have a lot of confidence in himself. Because guys, on the first date, you need to go in for the kiss because it shows to you if the girl likes you back. Because she's gonna kiss you if she finds you attractive and sees you as more than just a friend. And if she doesn't kiss you back, then hey, I'm not going to waste any more time on this girl. It's nice to meet you, and move on to a girl who has, high drive and passion for you. So, yeah, he comes to pick her up on a second date. I got nothing wrong with picking a girl up. I think it's quite gentlemanly, especially if you need to drive to the date. That might be like 20 minutes away. I think that's completely fine. I've picked up dates in my car before, so that's completely valid. But yeah, she sends her her address, but it's different from her home address. So that's a bit concerning, but I'm sure it could be explained. She could be at a girlfriend's house. She could have been somewhere before, and this new address is closer. But obviously, some alarm bells are ringing that it might be from another guy's address. Hopefully, just a gay best friend, right? I pick her up, and a guy gives her a hug and a peck on the cheek. Hmm. Um, Okay, let's read on before I give my opinion on that. When she gets in my car, I asked her, was that her friend? And she told me she was just on a date. Oh my god. Right, let me just have a sip of my coffee and we'll dive into this because, yeah, I think this happens more often than guys think, but girls usually hide this. But this girl's just been very open and honest about it, which I actually rate from her point of view. So the guy gives her a hug and a peck on the cheek. At least, I didn't make out in front of you. That'd been pretty rough. I think a little hug from a guy, you probably think, oh yeah, maybe it's just like a family friend or a gay best friend. But the peck on the cheek kind of solidifies, okay, there's something going on here. Unless the guy's French. Uh, and then yeah, she's just completely open and honest. Like when she gets in the car, he tells him that yeah, she was just on a date. Now, what time did he pick up this girl? I guess if she's at a guy's house, that's more than just a date. She probably knows him over multiple dates, and they probably just slept together. Like, what else they doing? You know, in the house, they playing chess. Are they doing revision? No, they're getting down to business. They're doing biology class under the sheets. And yeah, that pretty much sucks for this guy because he's been completely blindsided. He's picking her up like a gentleman, and he finds out this. It's better to find out now than further down the line. But from her point of view, what's she doing this for? Like, why is she being so open about her being on another date? Is it to make this guy jealous? Is it to make both guys jealous? For me, it's a bit of a red flag about her personality. It gives off maybe some hatred towards men or wanting to have control over men and make them feel bad because I like that she's being like honest about this situation, but the way she's doing it kind of makes me feel like she's trying to make both men feel bad about the situation and try and make the two guys fight for her. Um, he continues, I told her that's a bit disrespectful to have me pick her up like this, and she said it shouldn't bother me because we're not in a relationship. I would not have gone down the route of saying, oh, it's disrespectful, etc. You need to make a decision there. If it really upsets you, just to drop her home or tell her to get out. Don't go through, oh, that's disrespectful, and try and like defend your point of view and make her feel bad. Just, dump her on the road politely, or take her home to her place and say, look, it was nice to meet you, but this isn't going to work out. Or take the second option, be like, well, yeah, we are just dating. I've no, we haven't had the relationship talk. It's still very early on, and just use her as a bit of fun. Now you've got to be careful. I wouldn't probably kiss her lips on a second date because you don't know where those lips have just been. In this regard, it's probably been around another sausage on that exact day, which is yucky. Um, I have dated girls who I found out later they were dating other men, and they were dating other men during that same period that we were dating, and they were sleeping with other guys, and it doesn't make what that girl done as a bad person. Like, yeah, we weren't in a relationship, it was just we didn't put any label on it, so she was completely in her right to do it. But for me as a guy, it still made me feel disgusted to know I was, sleeping with a girl, and then possibly the night before she was sleeping with another guy. Like, I don't know where those lips have been, and that is just quite yucky. Again, it doesn't make her a bad person. She just played it by the rules. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, I'd want the woman to be open and honest with me and tell me, hey, look, I know we're seeing each other tonight, but I just want to be clear that I actually saw another guy the night before. I just want to be completely open and honest with you, and from my point of view, I'd respect her so much more and have so much more trust in her than if I found out further down the line that she was meeting up with other guys. But look, this is modern dating, guys. Men are going to be, especially if they're attractive guys, they're going to be dating multiple women at the same time. You guys should be doing that because you want as many options as possible to make the right decision. But girls are going to be doing it as well. If you've ever seen a girl's Hinge likes, how many matches she has 100 plus at any one time. So to think you're the only guy that she's dating, you're pretty deluded if you think that. It's disgusting. I know we hate it. I know you want this woman to be a unicorn and you to be the only guy she's dating, but unfortunately that's not the case, guys. Yeah, it sucks. Um, but let's continue. So yeah, he said to her, I find it disrespectful. She said it's completely fine because we're not in a relationship. Yes, that's valid, but it don't say it shouldn't bother him. Like, he's allowed to have his own feelings. It's completely normal for it to bother him, and I don't like that reaction from her. It kind of shows that she's very immature. She doesn't see the point of view from his side of things. So yeah, I think this woman's just a walking red flag. And me personally, I would have told her to get out and let the guy who just banged her, drive her home. But I'm sure he's an absolute Chad, so he won't be doing that, and she knows that. I told her to kindly leave my car and drove home. Okay, he did do that. Legend. And he's actually got 50,000 upvotes, so I feel like a lot of people agree with him. Let's just read a couple of comments before ending this video. I'm trying so hard to imagine what kind of look a woman has on her face when she tells her date he's just picked her up from another date. OP, please describe because this is wild. Someone says, I had a very similar experience and their face is straight as if they just told you they picked up their dry cleaning it early. Yeah, I think that's a certain type of woman though. I think a lot of women would be embarrassed by that. Like, if you saw her on another date with a guy when you're dating her at the same time. I think this is just a certain type of woman. Yeah, she's a walking red flag for sure. Someone else says, haha, yeah, good on you. Dating these days has got to be crazy as hell. Yeah, it is. You're very lucky if you're in a long-term relationship and you've been able to avoid all this bull crap. But I think it's like a layer of paint for men. Like every bad experience with women, every experience with women in general, it's just another layer of paint to add to the wall, and it comes thicker and thicker. You get more experience, and that's how I just view bad experiences or these type of stories. I just view it as just more information, more layers of paint. So it's not a bad thing. You don't want to go through life and just everything to be perfect, because when it does go bad, you're not going to be able to deal with it properly. Someone else says OP is a foodie call. Yeah, he hasn't even kissed her from the sounds of it, so definitely a foodie call, and sounds like a Uber driver as well. But at least he has some balls to just drop her off, so he's not a complete simp. She wanted him to pay for lunch and you pay for dinner. Oh yeah, so yeah, maybe she got free lunch out of it, then she was aiming to get a free dinner. She probably got a hot dog for lunch, let's just say that. Yeah, having multiple dates is one thing, but picking them up directly from one is weird. Yeah, I could talk all day about people having multiple dates at the same time. Again, it's not against the rules, but I just do feel like you should be honest to the person you're dating. Like, hey, I am dating other people, I am sleeping with other people. I just want you to know that, because I want to make sure you're aware, because I think you deserve to know. Again, even if you're not in a relationship yet, some people might say, well, it's not that person's business, but you're in that person's life and you're playing with their feelings, and you'll possibly might catch an STD or something. So I think personally it should be the way to tell the person you're dating, like, hey, I'm dating other people. Personally, I know it's not a very popular opinion. Let's read one more comment. Probably told the first guy that my Uber is here. Oh yeah, it's rough. It's so rough out there, and this guy's probably so burnt by it. But I've got a lot of hope for this guy, because he just dumped her by the curb. So at least he has some, at least he has some balls and respect for himself. Crazy story, but guys, again, this happens more than you think. This is just very in your face, but I can assure you, I don't want to upset you, but the girl you're probably dating right now, she's probably dating 2 or 3 other guys that you don't know about. It sucks, it's just how it is, and you have to see, okay, what other positives does she have? Is this one like negative, but think about all the other positives. Is she a good person? Does she have a ton of green flags? That's why it's so important to vet. Don't jump into a relationship. Date her for multiple months, and even if you do get into that relationship, don't jump to the church wedding bells. Date her, be in a relationship for multiple years before you come to those types of decisions, because the truth always comes out. Just make sure to sit back and just watch how she acts, because they'll let it slip, guys. They'll let it slip, or their best friend will let it slip about how they used to be and the dates they used to go on. Anyway, that's all, guys. Cheers. See ya.
This is a nice spot.
The perfect hex! Yeah!
That's me. You're ready for action.
We are Furman!
Who needs a power-up? Now! That's what...
Fear Magneto!
I'll patch you up.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Become vulnerable.
Pure chaos!
You're ready for action.
Ah, that's better.
This is real firepower!
Prepare yourself.
You're welcome.
Little spider.
Yup, my good deed for the
I'll
day.
be ship in no time.
Ready for a boost?
Us against the world!
You heard me coming. I'll patch you up. Team play. That's me. Yeah. This is a nice spot. My good deed.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
For mutant kind! I'm doing this my way!
Final score, 3-2-2.